Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Cooking Matters Live. This is week 2. Thank you to everyone who watched last week. Again, my name is Abby, and this is my coworker, Austin. And we are program... Oh, 1 second. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. We're back. We are both program coordinators with 18 Reasons, which is a nonprofit community cooking school based in the Mission District in San Francisco. We provide cooking and nutrition classes to families all over the Bay Area. We've also ramped up food distribution a lot recently during quarantine, and we're here to bring you free cooking classes virtually. So if you're joining us today, please go ahead and type your name and where you're joining us from in the comment section. This comment section will be used throughout the class for any of you to ask questions, to follow along, if you need clarification on anything, as well as if you're going to be cooking along with Austin today, go ahead and let us know in the comment section as well. Today's theme is creative salads. Today we're going to be making 2 salads. One is a watermelon and feta salad, and then one is a brown rice and edamame salad. And Austin's going to show us the ropes on those 2. So take it away, Austin.
Cool. Thank you. So as Abby said, today we're talking about salads. Normally the second class in our Cooking Matters series is fruits and veggies. So my idea for these salads was, it's summer, we have all this beautiful fruit at our disposal. Everything is super ripe and fresh and amazing. So normally when I eat fruit, I just like, a peach in my mouth, in my hand, in my mouth, like that's it. But there is a lot of stuff you can do with it. And it's something I've been working on these past few weeks, is incorporating more fruits and veggies, different veggies that are in season, into ways that I don't normally use them. So today we have a salad with watermelon in it. And this one is just like chunks of watermelon with some seasoning and some other things thrown in, but you could do it over lettuce or with like a grain or something. So I'll talk about that more as we go. And then the other salad is rice based, but you could do it with quinoa or all kinds of stuff. And it has some fruits and some beans and some dried fruit and all other kinds of stuff in it. So we have a truly mixed bag of things for you today. And hopefully you can get some tips or some inspiration from something that we do. Okay, so I'm going to start with, like we talked about last week, mise en place, which means everything in its place. So we're starting with the things that are going to take the longest. So we're going to toast some nuts for the rice salad. And I already put some water on to boil for our edamame. So those are the only two things that we're cooking, except for the rice, which I cooked previously. So without further ado, I'm going to start our nuts. So I'm going to tilt you down a little bit. And here I have 1 cup of raw almonds. Make sure that if you're doing this, that you get the raw ones, because sometimes they're like smoked or seasoned with something, and that would be good, but it's just not really what we're looking for today. So I'm going to give these a really rough chop. You could even do it whole if you want, but I'm just going to get the pieces a little, whoa, they're flying all over the place. A little smaller. You could use slivered almonds, which are already chopped for you. But I think the little bit bigger sizes will give us some crunch that I am looking for. I'm not really using my best knife skills right now because these are like flying all over the place. But normally, practice knife safety, as we always say. I'm not like cutting like this, which is how you cut your fingers off.
Mm-hmm. Could you use any kind of nuts, Austin?
Any kind of nuts? Yeah, you definitely could. I think pecans would be really good. Those are probably like my favorite nut. But today we are using almonds because that's what the recipe called for. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is like
looking great.
But I think I'm like almost done because I want to keep it a little chunky.
Yeah.
So as you can see, we have some pieces that are a little smaller, like this guy, and some are like basically still whole. So I'm going to call that good because I want some crunch. That's really why these are in here. So we're gonna toast them. Give me one sec. I have just a little baking sheet that I'm gonna put all my nuts on. And I am notorious for burning nuts because they will go really quickly from like a nice golden brown to burnt black. So don't do that. I'm always like, oh, I'll just like remember, it'll just be a couple minutes, and then I start doing something else and I forget. So don't
I'll help remind you.
Okay, I'm gonna actually set a timer this time. And I'm just gonna give this one a chop. Some of these are a little bigger than I want, so we'll give them another chop. But yeah, like Abby said, any kind of nut, walnuts would be good, peanuts even. It's really just for the crunch. So I'm gonna go put these in the oven. One sec. Okay, I set it for 5 minutes, so we'll see. Better to do too little than too much.
Okay.
Clear some of these nut bits off. So now we're gonna move on to the watermelon salad because the recipe says that it has to sit for like at least 10 minutes after we assemble it all to get the flavors to kind of meld together. So we're gonna do this one first so that it can have the time to rest. Let's see, what should I start with? I will crumble this feta. So you can see this is half a block of, I think it was a 7-ounce block. So this is about 3.5 ounces of feta. I kind of like the one that comes in a block because then I can crumble it myself. And if I want like big chunks, I can leave them big, or I can get it as small as I feel. And I think it's always best to buy as like whole ingredients as you can, because I have read that sometimes when they pre-shred cheese, especially like cheddar and stuff that comes in the little strings, they coat it with some kind of desiccant sort of thing to keep it from sticking together. So I know since I crumbled this myself that it's just cheese and super easy, just little chunks. That's about the size that I'm feeling today. And then let's do our mint. I know when I start to cut the watermelon, it's gonna like get juice everywhere. So I'm gonna cut everything else first before I do that. So I got this mint from the farmer's market for like $2. I'm really excited about it. I've used it for like 3 different things this week. So it's final, probably not even final. I'll probably have more left over after this application. So the recipe calls for a loosely packed cup of mint leaves. So I'm picking them off the stem, not really being that precise about it because we're gonna chop it anyways, but just picking the leaves off. And when it says loosely packed cup, get the stem out of there, it just means just kind of place the leaves gently in the cup. And when it's full, that's when you know, because obviously, I'll show you when I have 1 cup of leaves, which I will have right now. So here's my loosely packed cup. But if I were to squish it down, it's like, oh, well, now I have like 1/4 of a cup. But if I did it like this, we would have like way too much mint. So loosely packed cup, or really as much as you feel like. If you're not a huge fan of fresh mint flavor, because it can be kind of like a little peppery, then you can do less. But I really love this mint, so I'm gonna do a whole bunch. And I'll show you a little technique. We did this with the spinach last week, and I'll do it again with this mint. It's a little harder because it's smaller, but I'm gonna make just kind of a tight pile of all my leaves, including these ones that are still in little sprigs, because I don't mind this little bit of stem, and it'll help me keep it all together. So I'll make this as big as I can without it like springing all over the place. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then I'm gonna roll it up as best I can into, sometimes I see this called a cigar shape. but family friendly. This is not a cigar. This is a and then I have my rough little roll here, and I'm going to cut it as thin as I can so that we end up with these little ribbons, same as we had with the spinach last week, but it's just nice and uniform, and I think it's gonna be, the right size for my salad. I'll put it right back in the cup that I had, and you'll see that this is now even less, or it looks like less than we had before, because it's smaller now. But Abby, have you made any fun salads lately?
Recently I still have a ton of the Humboldt cheese.
Yeah.
And so I've been making just like putting that on every single salad I have. I've recently been on an arugula kick. I've been eating a lot of arugula. I think it's my favorite lettuce.
Yeah. I think I told you this before, but arugula is my like spirit vegetable. I think if I was a vegetable, I would be arugula.
I love it. I love it.
Have you thought about what you would be if you were a vegetable?
I think, well, I want to say I like immediately go towards my favorite, which is mushrooms, but I don't know if that really personifies me. I don't know. Maybe like a sweet potato.
Okay, sorry. My timer went off, so I just went to check on the nut.
Are they burnt?
No, they're not burnt. Some of the really small, like little teeny tiny like crumb pieces are getting brown, but the big pieces are not brown yet. So we'll keep going here. I gave them another like 2 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now here comes the part that I have been like low-key dreading, because we have this big watermelon. And I am by no means, like, I'm not even going to pretend to tell you that I really know how the best way to cut a watermelon is. I will try to show you what I think like the safest way is, because a lot of times when I'm dealing with big stuff like this, I just feel like it might get away from me, which would be bad. But really, however you feel is the safest way for you to do it is going to be the best way. So I'm going to start by just cutting it in half, because we always say that when you can make a flat surface, you should try to do that, because it'll keep it from rolling around, whether it's, an apple or a grape or a watermelon. You always want to go for as flat a surface as you can. All right. So
beautiful.
My halves, yes. And obviously I'm not going to cut it like this, because that is not a flat surface. I'll turn it over. Oh, I guess I can leave a sticker on because we're not going to eat that anyways. Okay, how should I do this? So I think I'm going to just turn it and cut off this end piece, because you like hardly get any watermelon from that anyways. This will be a snack for later. And I always keep a compost bowl just to keep my station clean and keep everything out of the way. So when it's done, I'll just toss it all in the compost and don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay, so this is the same way I would cut a watermelon if I was just gonna eat it like as a snack. You've got your half, and then I'll cut it into a quarter. And then I'm gonna try my best to cut the rind off. I feel like this is kind of wasteful because this part is so curved, it's hard to get that part, but that'll be later too.
Watermelons are tough.
Yeah, but success, mostly rind-free piece. And then I'm gonna cut it into about 1-inch chunks, because I think that's how big I want it in my salad. I can really smell the nuts toasting now. It smells almost like cookies baking, like a toasty smell. So that's another thing to watch out for when it starts to go from like a baking cookies smell to a burnt. Okay, they're beeping again. So put this on pause. I'll go check on it. Okay, yeah, I think they look good. It's probably hard to tell on camera, but they're definitely
they're definitely darker.
Yeah, and like the part that was once white is now more of like a blonde, and they'll probably continue to toast a little bit just sitting here on this hot pan. So I'm going to leave these, allow them to cool, and we'll use them at the very end. So nuts toasted. Success.
Woo-hoo.
All right, and now back to the watermelon. I think it'll get easier to cut this as we get more in towards the center of the melon. Watermelon is getting cheaper and cheaper. I've been watching it every week because
I love watermelon.
It is affordable, so happy days.
This is a perfect summer salad.
Yeah. And like I said, you can just add like watermelon to a salad with lettuce as the base. I did a salad with like big chunks of heirloom tomato and big chunks of watermelon and like a balsamic vinaigrette a while ago. That was pretty good.
Yummy.
Oof. I mean, people put salt on their watermelon all the time just to eat it, or at least I've seen that done before. So, since it's so sweet, it can really take a lot of savoriness that will bring out like the flavor of the watermelon, I think.
I love tahini on watermelon.
Ooh, yeah. I ran out of tahini and I am desperately in need of some more. This is prime tahini season.
It is.
Okay, so the recipe calls for 6 cups of watermelon, but that sounds like a lot to me. I'm not eating that much, so I will just kind of, maybe I'll finish this piece. So in total, I'll have used a quarter of melon. Have you ever seen, I feel like there's some recipes that are for like pickled watermelon rind or something. I feel like there's got to be stuff you can do with it.
I've never heard of that, but I'm sure there is.
But anything that's, you know, giving new life to my scraps, I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1/4 of the watermelon down. I have this much. That's crazy that that's only like watermelon, but here we are. So now my board is all messy anyway, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. This is why we did our nuts and our cheese and mint first, because now I have to wash all this stuff before I use it again. Put these in my compost bowl. Move this out of the way. Like almost every time I cook, I think of in Ratatouille when the girl is like, "Yo, station, clean." So.
It's a good motto. It's a good motto.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna dress this watermelon because, like I said, it needs to sit. So the recipe says 1 tablespoon of lime juice or rice vinegar, and this is unseasoned rice vinegar. Sometimes you'll see the seasoned one that has like sugar and salt and all kinds of stuff added to it. You would usually use that for like sushi,
Mm-hmm.
but we want the unseasoned one for today. I'm gonna add our mint. I'm gonna add the feta at the very end, right before I'm gonna eat it, because I feel like I don't want it to get like soggy in the dressing. And then here comes the electric pepper thing again.
Yay.
And probably a pretty good amount of pepper because that's going to be our main seasoning in this. And then, oops, I have this set on the like big thing, so I'll put it in first. And then a good sprinkle of salt too, because like I said, watermelon is pretty sweet, so a good amount of salt is going to bring out the sweetness, but not too much because it's pretty salty too, so we don't want to like do too much.
And rice vinegar is a really good ingredient just to have in your pantry for any salads, and also just for a lot of different Asian foods as well, like stir fries, or I use it in some of like my Asian salads and everything. So
Yeah. And really what it's bringing to this is some acid. So if you wanted to use like lime would be really good, or lemon juice, or even probably like tahini, because it has that citric acid, like salty thing going on, would all be good. So I think I'll give this a taste right now just to make sure that I didn't like do anything crazy. Besides use a bowl that's maybe a little too small, but it would taste. Oh yeah, the pepper is really good. I'm a fan of the pepper.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's so colorful. And it's gonna make it look even better. So, all right, that's this. I'm gonna set it aside and let it just get to know each other for a little bit.
It's a great like potluck salad to bring for a bunch of people. Super easy to make, super fast.
And I feel like it's got some, unconventional ingredients. So it's not like, oh, here's me and my like caprese that everybody has. But it's a fun thing. Okay. So now we're moving on to our rice salad. So like I said, I already cooked the rice and it's been cooling off. So I'm actually very proud of myself because I am really bad at cooking rice. It's supposed to be like the easiest thing, but it always turns out wrong. But I cooked this for literally 15 minutes less than the package said. And it turned out okay. So
yeah, I often overcook my rice too.
Yeah. But I'm very happy with this. I feel like it's the right.
Beautiful. And this is brown rice, correct?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's brown rice, which we normally use in our Cooking Matters classes because it's a whole grain and it is super yummy. It has a nice like nutty flavor. So that's why we use that. And this was 1 cup dry. So it's probably about 3 or 4 cups now that it's cooked. Wow, I'm just so happy with myself. This looks like
beautiful.
So note to self, like 15 minutes less than package directions. That's where it's at.
Gets you nice fluffy rice.
Yes. I used to live with a girl who just like was really good at cooking rice and ate a lot of rice. And she would always look at mine and be like, too much water. I'm like, what am I supposed to do about this? So she would be proud of me today. So I'm going to get a new knife, big old knife. And I have some edamame peas that were previously frozen. I've thawed them. Would you cook these at home if you were using them?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't because I was eating some as I was portioning them out for this, and they're like taste like edamame. I don't know, but I'll give them a little boil or like a blanch, which is just a really quick in boiling water and then out just kind of to see what happens. And because that's what the recipe says to do. So we'll try it out, but I'm going to lay this all out first.
Yeah. Lemon. I think it depends too if you want like a more of a crunch maybe or.
Yeah. I'm sure you could even like microwave it just really quickly too.
Yeah.
They were a little bit starchy maybe, so maybe that's what we're going for. But okay, so we have a lemon that we're going to juice, an orange, which I'll show you how to cut. I already did some of it, but I'll give you a little demo. This is the juice that I collected from the first orange that I cut. We'll add a little bit more to that. This is an 1/8 of a cup of canola oil, and then I added another 1/8 of a cup of sesame oil because I love the flavor of sesame oil, and I think it'll be good in our dressing for this. So a 1/4 cup of oil of your choosing.
Yeah.
Probably not olive oil because I feel like that flavor is a little strong and maybe not what we're going for, but you could try it. Let me know how it goes. And then 3 green onions, which I'm going to cut right now. So cut these little ends off. I've seen a lot of people growing these now. It's like a quarantine trend hobby to sprout your own green onions, but I have a ton, so I'm not going to do that. I think we can go like pretty far up the green because I want some white part and some green part. So we'll just keep going until I feel like we have enough.
And see how Austin's hand, her other hand is using like the claw. So her fingers aren't poking out like this, but they're like this. So that because then you can go really fast with your knife and not have to worry about cutting your finger off.
Yep. This is kind of a weird like angle, so this always happens to me when I cut green onions, tubes of like half pieces. So I'll just have to go back and try and finish that. Okay, so I went like literally the whole way up because I feel like I like the green and the white together. Some recipes will tell you either only use the green or only use the white, I guess, depending on like what they're going for, but we're doing the whole thing today. And I'll put it back in this container. And I think what this will bring to our salad is a little bit of that, I don't want to say spicy because then people will like flame me for thinking that onions are spicy. That, like, you know what I mean? The kind of bite of onion, but we're not using white onion, which would be maybe a little too much, but green onions are a little more mild in flavor.
Exactly.
So let's go try this edamame thing. I've got some water boiling over here. Move you over to the stove. Here's our nuts hanging out. So this water is just at a simmer. So I think if I turn the heat up, I can get it back to a boil. We'll call that boiling. It's like just under boiling. Okay, so I'm just gonna dump these in and give them like literally 1 or 2 minutes before I fish them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go find, I'll use this thing, little strainer guy to pull them out. So if this was like broccoli or asparagus or other of those kind of green, pretty much any like green vegetable, when you blanch it like this, which like I said earlier, is just a really quick boil, or I guess in this case, just simmer in hot water, you'll notice that the color is going to brighten up a ton. And that's kind of how you know that you've gotten to the blanch stage. And then if you take it farther where the color starts to dull, you can see this especially in asparagus. It goes from like really bright green to a little more like of that asparagus, like pea soupy kind of like dull green. Mm-hmm. That's when you've gone from blanch into maybe more of a boil or a steam, depending on what you're doing. I have a feeling that these were pre-cooked since I got the bag. So I think the brightness has already happened, but we're going to give them this little blanch just to warm them up and see if we can see what happens when we cook them a little bit. So let's see what's going on with the nuts. They're definitely more brown and they're cool enough to touch now. So that's good. Maybe I'll move them into another container so that, I have so many containers going on now. Put it in our salad. I'm not going to put it directly on the salad because since we went to all the effort to toast these, I don't want them to get like soggy before we have to. But putting them in this little bowl, you can see my peas or edamame beans are boiling away. I think I'm going to call that good.
I think so too.
Now I will fish them out. And I guess we will see if anything happened. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt to them. I probably should have put it in the water before, but I think it'll work the same to do it after. Just because you should really be seasoning like every part of your salad so that in the end, it's properly seasoned. Okay, so I just added a little bit of salt, mix it around, and then we'll put these aside to cool as well. Oh, I got a nut in my throat. But, okay, so peas done, almonds done. Oh yeah, so now I'm going to show you how to do the orange. And I learned this at an 18 Reasons class from Chef Mike. And this is like very extra, so you do not have to do this at all. You could just peel the orange with your hands like you would if you were going to eat it, and then chop it or just segment it however you feel like eating it. But this is called the Supreme because it's supposed to be like just the best parts of the orange, but you will see it's kind of finicky, but I think it's kind of cute. So I cut the top and the bottom off. So now I have flat, of course, because, we want the flat part to cut it. And then I'm going to go around and cut off the skin by going as close as I can to the natural curve of the orange and keeping as much of the flesh, but removing this white part. So you can see I missed a little piece here. I'll go back around and cut off the little pieces once I do this. Whenever I do this, I like to keep these big pieces of orange peel, and I'll make candied orange peel. I feel like it's a waste of all of this beautiful orange flavor to just toss them, but you can cut it into strips and then just boil it with really a cup of sugar, pretty much a cup of sugar and a cup of water. And then you'll have candied orange peel, but that's for a different time. Okay, so now I
believe most of the nutrients too and fiber are in the skin.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the reasons why this Supreme thing is pretty good. Because you're just only getting, the supreme, if you will, part of the orange. But, for a salad, I don't really want the pith part, which is the white. So here I have just the flesh. So if you care now, you can do that. And I didn't explain it as I was doing it, but so you can see here that, it's dripping. The membranes that separate each orange segment are still in there, even though I removed the outer white part. So I'm going to cut on either side of the membrane. So I cut here this way, and then I'll cut this way too in a, that's hard because it's mirrored, like a V shape. So down this way and then down this way. And then in the end, you will have just a piece of the orange flesh with no skin. This knife is probably a little bigger than I should have used, but I have a seed. Take the seeds out too, because that is even worse than the pith in your salad. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we're taking off the pith. And when I saw this in the 18 Reasons class, Chef Mike, our chef extraordinaire who works with us, squeezed out the membrane and got probably a good tablespoon of orange juice out of it. So
wow.
Yeah, we're really putting every piece to use, except for that's not even true. We're trying to use as much as we can. I don't really know what you do with this pith part.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Use it, but I'm sure you could
compost it.
We're always trying to reduce our food waste, so just eat it. Okay, this is getting a little hairy as I get down to the end because I'm losing the parts that I was holding on to, but it's still working out pretty good. So I'm gonna finish up this orange. So we have all of our segments. I think one more to go. Come on. Okay, there we go.
Got it.
And here is the pith from the last orange I did. You can see that it's just the skin part. And I squeezed it out too to get the juice. I'll squeeze this one out too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, it's running all over the place. If I was more careful, I could have gotten more juice. But I just got 2 tablespoons of orange juice that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And we'll use that in the dressing. So nothing goes to waste. Maybe I'll squeeze out this top bit that I cut off. I could probably squeeze the these pith pieces or peel pieces, but that's for another day. Okay, so all these go in the compost bin. I'm gonna rinse off my board. We're just cutting a lemon next, so it doesn't really matter if you get orange on your lemon, but
citrus on your citrus.
Yes. Okay, so just a quick scraped off my board, and now we'll move on to the lemon. I'm gonna just juice it directly into the rice because now we're making our, actually, I'm not gonna do that so I can show you the vinaigrette because this is kind of like the dressing for our rice salad. So I'll grab yet another little bowl.
Little bowls galore in
Yeah,
Austin.
I love my little bowls though.
I know.
Things
So
separate.
cute.
All right, so I'm gonna squeeze it into my hand. I think the recipe calls for, I think it's a 1/4 cup of lemon. Ooh.
Can you explain why you're squeezing it into your hand?
Yeah, so I'm squeezing it into my hand because I just caught the seeds.
So many seeds.
Yeah, I could fish them out after the fact, but I can also filter out some of the like pulpy pieces. So, and then after I squeeze it, I'm just gonna kind of like move my fingers around to get any little drips. And then I got one more seed. So there's that. I'll do the other half because I think that's how much lemon I want. I may not end up using all of this little vinaigrette that we're making. But actually, I guess
always save it for later too.
Yeah, because you could put it on like another salad because I'm definitely gonna eat another salad in the next few days. So yeah, actually, I learned this from Chef Mike as well. This is technically a citronette because the acid is citrus, in this case, lemon and orange juice. So not a vinaigrette, apparently.
You want to call your dressing a fancy name, citronette.
Yeah. It's very extra, but sometimes, you know, depending on who you're serving, you just gotta go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna measure this out just so that I know that my proportions of the acid to the oil are correct. Because I like mine with about, like exactly a 1/4 cup. About half acid to oil. So, no, I mean twice as much acid as we have oil.
Okay, 2 to 1.
Yeah. So 1/4 cup of the lemon juice, a little less than a 1/4 cup of the orange juice, but close enough. And then a 1/4 cup of my oil. And I said earlier, this is a mix of canola and sesame. So
yeah, I love sesame oil with any kind of citrus. So
yeah, sesame oil in any application. It's just similar to the nuts. It has a nice like toasty flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm just going to put salt and pepper directly on this rice salad. So I'm not going to add any here. We have so much going on that I want to make sure that I taste it with all the other pieces so that it's how I like it. So give this a little taste. Ooh, yeah. The sesame oil was a good call because it was just a little too lemony, but oil kind of cuts it. So now I'll bring back all of our pieces that we had. So about 3 cups of rice, 1 cup uncooked. So now it's about 3 or 4 cups. And the recipe called for a cup each of edamame, dried cranberries, oranges, and almonds. That seems like kind of a lot to me. I think I want more rice than other things. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it until I feel like it looks the way that I want it. So I'll add like half of these edamame, half of the cranberries, half of the nuts, and we have less green onions, so I'll add all the green onions. Oh yeah, and the oranges, of course.
So yummy.
Oh wow, there's so much juice left in there, so I'll add.
It's perfect.
I'm gonna add all of them because I like the orange. This is a fruit day, anyways.
Fruit heavy day, yeah.
And then I'm gonna start with just a few tablespoons of my citronette because I don't want to overdo it. And because it's in arm's reach, I'm abandoning the fancy pepper for an old school grind your own pepper situation. And a little bit of salt. And I already salted the edamame, and I put a little, ooh, whoa, that was a lot.
It was the wrong end.
A mistake, but luckily it's all in one pile, so I'm just gonna whoops. But I think it'll be okay. It's because I put a little salt in with the rice as it was cooking, so that should be good. Give it a mix.
Beautiful. Look at that. So many colors.
I know. And it's got like so many different textures, the crunch of the almonds and the juiciness of the orange. I'm really excited about this. This is not really a recipe with like, oh, just things I have around the house. Because I mean, I had some of these things, but I definitely did have to go out and buy like the edamame. But you can always make substitutions. Like you could use whatever kind of nut you have. You could use just like green peas instead of the edamame. You could dried apricots instead of the almonds, or I mean the cranberries. So
yeah, a lot of it can be substituted.
Yeah, if you're really just craving a fun salad, but you don't have these exact things, you can definitely make it work. I'm gonna give it a taste to make sure I got the seasoning right. Yep.
Good.
Yep. Not too much salt. We saved that.
Yay. Let's see the watermelon one too.
Yeah. So now the watermelon sit. I'm gonna add the feta to it.
Oh, such pretty salads. Look at that.
Let me clear off some of these little bowls and things. I'm gonna add the rest of these edamame because I don't know what else I'll do with it, and can take it. The cranberries I can put back in the jar or whatever, so those will save for another time. Same with the nuts. I can use that for something else. Because if I knew that I was going to waste things if I didn't use it, I would try and find a way to use it now. But those can stay for another time. Okay, so we've cleaned up a little bit. Let me mix in these edamames. Now it's even more green than it was before. I'm excited about that. And you could absolutely serve either of these over lettuce if you're not into the idea of a just rice or just watermelon base. I might add arugula to this watermelon salad if I wanted to like fill it out.
Yeah.
Got our big chunky feta.
Yummy.
And again, I said this before, but I'm adding the feta at the end because it could kind of like disintegrate a little bit into the watermelon juices. So I want to keep it as fresh as I can. And then I'll try not to flip this all over the place. Give it a mix. And
I think too, if you weren't eating feta in the other one, you could also, feta would be good in the edamame salad as well.
Yeah, a little saltiness. I don't think you guys can tell, but since I put some salt on this earlier, the watermelon is really giving up its juices, because when you add salt to something, it'll pull the water out because of some like science thing that I learned and forgot. But so there's a lot of juice. That's kind of like its own dressing combined with the vinegar that we put in. So there we have it. Took me like 30 minutes, not even. And
beautiful.
Beautiful salads that will be my lunch. And I hope that you guys learned something that, this way.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Learn something that you can use if it's not this exact recipe, something similar with what you have, or something that you've been really itching to try, because salad is not always just lettuce and croutons and, dressing from a bottle. You can really get creative and use all kinds of stuff. So
exactly.
That's it. We did it.
Yay. Thank you so much, Austin. If anyone watching has any questions, go ahead and type them in the comment section and we can answer them. As well, if you have any recommendations for recipes that you want to make in the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely take your suggestions. We'll be posting the new recipe packet later this week and sending that out to you all. I also put a survey in the comment section. If you all who were watching could take the survey for us and let us know how we did, that would be wonderful. If you take any pictures or if you just want to follow us and stay up to date, go ahead and follow us at 18 Reasons on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, the whole shebang. And then also, if you're looking for more food distribution information, you can go ahead and text food or comida to 877-877, and that will get you a list of free food distribution near you. But if anyone doesn't have any questions in the comments, then we are all set, and we will see you all next week at noon for our next Cooking Matters YouTube Live. All right. Bye, everyone.